Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another HermitCraft thing. Wait, that's not how the introduction goes. Guys, it's been a while. I've forgotten how to introduction. Wait, hold on. We have to go back to the basics. Let's try this again. Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to HermitCraft stuff. With me, Rendog. Ren the dog. Ren diggity dog. Wait a minute, this introduction is... Okay, listen, we're gonna have to go all the way back to the original, okay? We have to reset the brain. Here we go. Wait, there's not enough room in here. We have to do some jumping around if we're gonna do proper old school introductions. Here we go. Greetings, cyberdogs and citizens of the Interbus. This is Ren diggity dog coming at you in another Minecraft episode from the HermitCraft server. Oh my goodness, how long is that introduction? That's like a 20-second intro, guys. We've just been teleported back to 2012 YouTube days. Oh goodness. Anyway, guys, I'm back from holiday. Joy and wondrousness all around. I've missed you all so very much. I have missed making YouTube videos more than I can explain. However, I will tell you that I have had an absolutely amazing holiday with my dear family. I went over to California for a couple of weeks and spent some time with my family going on a massive road trip together down the coast of Northern California. It was a joyous affair. I'll tell you a little bit more about it later on in the episode, but first and foremost, we're back in the GIGACORP colony. Guys, I have been twiddling my thumbs for the last couple of days trying to get over the jet lag, as well as trying to figure out what in the stinking heck I'm going to be doing over the next couple of months or so. I mean, I can barely remember where we got to before I left for my family holiday. I think we made this thing. No, we didn't make that thing. We made the Scootball field, right? That was the last thing we did. We made the Scootball field and we gave false multipass. Yes, that's the last thing that we did. Yeah, okay, good. That still doesn't help with figuring out what we're going to be doing in this episode, let alone the next 10 episodes. But fear not, my dear friends, I've been working on a plan. It's called a Gigalog. And it's a project list of all the things that I would like to get up to over the course of the rest of the year. Before we get to that, though, look at this. There are shenanigans afoot. It looks like the space rats have, well, completely space-juiced up my JME-1. I mean, the entire thing is filled with some sort of oozing yellowy pus of some kind. An absolutely disgusting thing to behold. I mean, I'm just assuming it was the space rats. Of course, no hermit would do this to me while I was on holiday. Of course they wouldn't, right? That would be an outrageous thing to do to a fellow hermit while they're enjoying some time with their family. And, well, whoever has done this has definitely committed. This is why, my dear friends, you need to keep your JMEs well cleaned and cleansed, alright? You need to use disinfectant at all times. The space rats emit a ghastly pus straight from their belly buttons that will eventually completely pussificate whatever space vehicle that they are inhabiting. It's making me break stuff. I've broken lights and stuff. Where does this come from? Stinking space rats making me break my own thing. Oh, jeez. This entire place has been honeyed up. What in the heck is this? Who is responsible? Is there any signage or anything? Just an infestation then, huh? Just an infestation of honey space rat juice. Very nice. Welcome back to HermitCraft, Rendiggity Dog. Thank you, Hermit, whoever did this. Ah, what a joy to be back on the server, guys. It's always great coming back after a couple of weeks and spotting new amazing things that have been built all over the place, including this new XP shop that Joel has made. Is it not just magnificent? I love it so very much. And, well, I thought we would quickly pop out here to check on some profits because I've been getting some hints and some requests on the Discord to restock. Not from the Popo, but from my fellow hermits, because it looks like beacons are completely and utterly sold out. Yes, they are. Is that not an absolutely wondrous sight to behold? Beacons sold out while we've been away. Imagine how many more diamonds I could have made if I had just restocked the place before I went on holiday. Oh, you hate to see it. And that is exactly why point 4 on the Gigalog project list is restock the shops. Beacon shop and Skulk shop and Diorite and Granite shop. Although I doubt the Diorite and Granite shops have received any business while we've been away. I will be shocked and surprised if there have been any sales over here. No, indeed, no granite has been sold. What a shocking surprise that is. Any diorite has been sold? Well, you know, we might as well just blow these shops up at this point. Skulk shop profits not looking too good either. Maybe some veins have been sold. Ooh, we've had some Skulk veins that have been sold. So that's good news. This was probably Cub Fan, to be honest. Probably the only hermit interested in buying Skulk, but either way, those are profits, and we are happy with those. So Beacons netted us 126 diamonds for August to September, and the good news is that pushes us over the 2,000 diamond mark for Beacons. I think that's another trophy from Azuma, so that's excellent. Unfortunately, not the greatest news for the Skulk shop, just 31 diamonds for August to September, but taking our total to 41, creeping toward our first trophy at some point. Attention, ministers of the neighborhood, and welcome to another very important meeting of the ministers of the neighborhood. Hello? Ministers of the neighborhood? Anybody here? Hello? You really hate to see it. But despite the low turnout of this meeting, I've got some great news for all of you HermitCraft plushie collectors out there. There is a brand new Minister of Ministers Rendog plushie available from Makeship. For a very limited time though, just a few more weeks to go in the campaign, and I'll put a link to the plush in the description box below. Comes with some accessories. The Minister of Ministers top hat, and also an original pair of black glasses. For those of you guys who missed out on the first edition Rendog plushie, these black glasses minus the top hat will give you pretty much as close to the first edition plushie as you're gonna get. And also, on top of that, guys, a bunch of other hermits are doing a plush campaign in September too. Impulse, Skiz, Zedaf, and Corrales all have plushies available during this September campaign. And if you bundle us hermits up on Makeship, you will get some savings there for multiple purchases. So pretty awesome. Go check it out, guys. Just a couple of weeks to go. Link in the description box below. Pretty decent sales while we were away, guys. I am pleased to have received a whole bunch of blue rocks that we can now spend in the shopping district to get the resources that we're going to need to crack on with some projects around here. Very many exciting things coming to the GIGACORP colony, including some work that we're going to have to do over at the Scootball field. There's quite a lot that needs to be done. Number one, we need to make the place look better, because right now it is an absolute disaster area, encroaching in on Hypno's base, and, well, just sort of stuck in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the server. This all needs to be incorporated into the colony in some clever fashion and whatnot. And, well, that's just one of the very many projects that I have jotted down inside of the Gigalog. In fact, why don't we spend some time in this episode going through each of these things? And that should get myself and my brain back up to scratch on what is required, and also give us a decent idea of where to start, what resources to buy and what not. Goal! Oh yes, Scootball, still awesome. Oh, but before I forget, and while we're over here at the Scootball field, man, I've got some really amazing stuff to show you. Check this out. Over the course of the last few weeks, a bunch of you guys out there have been building your very own Scootball fields and arenas in your worlds and on your servers. I can't explain to you how much joy my heart receives when I see some of you guys embracing the Scootball life and bringing Scootball to your own corners of the Minecraft universe. And I wanted to share your awesome Scootball fields and builds with the HermitCraft audience, because you guys have done such awesome work. Check this out, guys. Take a look at Basil's version of a Scootball field. They say my version of Scootball with auto ball resetting, timer to start each round, and a match timer. May or may not keep the match timer. And also green squares that randomly dispense wind charges. Very interesting looking field indeed. I like that it is completely enclosed by a massive wall type system, and I like the fact that players can't get behind the goals. I think that's a pretty neat design based on the testing that we did before I went on holiday. Finally, I really like the idea of wind charges being dispensed in the green positions. Kind of cool, and maybe something I'd like to experiment with at some point, but very nice work, Basil. Love your Scootball pitch. It's great. Oh, check this one out too, guys. This one is really cool. It's from Roger D. Bones, who actually has their own YouTube channel. If you want to go watch the video that they made showcasing this particular arena, please go check it out in the comment section below. But take a look at that. What a magnificent looking Scootball field. It's got full stands for an audience to watch, and a really nice bit of marketing over there for what I'm guessing is Roger's server called ChronicleCraft. And what I especially like about this arena is that Roger has used the corners of the field in various ways. If you look at the bottom left of the field, that's where all the spare scoots are kept. And then in the top right of the field, there is a place for the viewers or the audience of this Scootball match to go and buy some merch or something from the merch stands, or maybe some hot dogs or whatever, right? A concessionary stand, I suppose, for this arena. But yeah, really excellently designed Scootball field by Roger D. Bones. Great work, sir. I absolutely love it, and looks like Scootball is a massive part of that small village's lifestyle. They're clearly more obsessed with Scootball than surviving a world full of zombies and skeletons. But, you know, I'm not surprised. Scootball is awesome. You know what's kind of funny? I was a little bit worried about what to do in this episode. After being away for a couple of weeks, it's always tricky to get back into the flow of making videos and finding stuff to do and whatnot. Turns out there's an insane amount to do. Looking at the logbook I showed you earlier, and over here at the gaming district of the server, we're at Azuma's Mace Race. Guys, I have some very exciting news to announce. Azuma has asked me to be a member of the very first official Mace Race coming up in the next couple of days. And I'm going to be racing somebody. I'm not 100% sure who I'm going to be racing. But Azuma tells me that this race is a very important race, the first official Mace Race Race, and there's a trophy up for grabs. I want that trophy really, really badly. So I tell you what, I'm going to do some practicing of the mace racing. Actually got to play the game a couple of times on live stream this weekend. It may not look like it, but I promise you I did. And it turns out I was reasonably good at it, although I'm clearly not doing very well now, but I'm trying to make a video at the same time. Never works out. But yes, I'm not sure who I'm racing. I'm assuming they're going to do some practice too. And I tell you what, I'm going to record a little bit of practice footage. And during that, I will tell you a little bit about my trip to California with my family, because I had a really great time. And I know that some of you probably want to know exactly what went down. So yeah, let's practice a mace race and have a quick chat. I clearly need a lot of practice. So, my family vacation to Northern California. Where to even begin? Well, this trip has been long in the making. My family and I decided to do this about a year ago, and we started booking transport and accommodation as fast as possible because, of course, Northern California, one of the most expensive places in the world. And the sooner that we booked stuff up, the less money we would be spending on the trip itself. So all of this got booked up a long time ago, and then a couple of months ago, my brother got in touch and said, "Yo, are you ready for our trip to America?" And I was a bit like, "Oh yeah, we're going on a holiday. Awesome." So yes, anyway, the plan for the trip was for me to meet up with my brother and his family in San Francisco, and then we would take a drive a little bit north through the redwood forests to the west coast of Northern California. And then after spending a couple of days in a wonderful little town called Trinidad, we would then do a massive road trip all the way south toward Los Angeles. And along the way, we would stop off at the Yosemite National Reserve for a few days and at Pismo Beach for a few days before heading into Los Angeles to spend a few days there with my brother Jono, who of course lives in LA. We all agreed that the best way to experience America and to spend as much quality time together as possible would be to rent a car and do a bunch of driving, which, as I've come to realize, is something that Americans do the best. It is a wonderful country to drive in, amazing roads, amazing views, and an absolute joy to road trip through, especially when you're with your family. We got a reasonably large SUV type vehicle so that the 5 of us could fit in there comfortably, and we thoroughly enjoyed driving down the west coast of America, listening to some great music and having some sing-alongs, or otherwise just staring out of the window and beholding what I must admit is one of the most magnificent parts of the world that I have ever seen. I mean, granted, I've not seen that much of the world, but one of the things that I came to realize about America, and especially driving through California from the north to the south, driving through these massive desert areas, but also through farmlands and massive fields and crops as far as the eye can see. And on top of that, spending a couple of days in the city of San Francisco and LA, which I gotta say are 2 of the most amazing and mind-blowing places that I have ever been. It all made me realize why America is such an amazing and powerful country. You guys out there have something truly special. And I gotta say, as an outsider, I was incredibly overwhelmed, impressed, and I kind of fell in love with the place. I mean, if I were to live in America, it would be in Northern California somewhere. I guess that's what everybody says, right? Because it's so wonderful. But certainly, I was not expecting to be so impressed by such an amazing place. The American people were so amazingly friendly to us. Everybody was super interested in what we were doing, where we were going, where we were from, etc. And we really felt welcomed and almost at home during our time there. But yeah, some of the highlights for me on the trip was the immense natural beauty of Northern California, especially the coastline near Trinidad and Eureka, which was an incredibly weird biome combination of beach and spruce taiga, I think. I think I got a couple of pictures here that I'm showing you guys. And if I had a choice to live anywhere in Northern California, it would probably be around the Trinidad region. Absolutely amazing weather, beautiful temperatures, amazingly clean and natural air, pristine blue flag beaches, and just incredible environment. What a beautiful place that was. Oh, and here's a picture from the plane as we were circling around San Francisco getting ready to land. I took this picture because I realized this was the furthest west from South Africa, my original home country, that I've ever been. I'd never gone this far away from home before, and I just had to capture it. And, you know, this picture doesn't do the actual view justice, but it does give you a deep sense of how incredibly and overwhelmingly massive America is. I mean, it's just mountains as far as the eye can see. And I can imagine that the first pioneers that arrived in this part of the world must have just been incredibly overwhelmed by the immensity that lay before them. But yes, the natural beauty in that part of the world was really fantastic. Obviously, we did drive through the redwood forests, which are a real amazing sight to see, and I would recommend anybody in that part of the world to go and check them out. 2,000-year-old trees that have been around so much longer than we have. The age of these beings really made me appreciate how very short our own little human lives are. I think in the span of one human life, these redwood trees probably only grow half an inch. Our lifespans are so insignificant to them that have been around for so much longer than we have. And what an amazing spectacle of natural beauty it was. As was the Yosemite Valley, which of course is a very famous, massive valley in northern North America. And what a beautiful and mind-blowing place this was. I've never seen valleys of such huge immensity. My little brain was unable to fathom the geothermic or tectonic powers or whatever that were needed to create this place. It sort of reminded me about the power and beauty of nature, and I was once again completely overwhelmed by the natural splendor that I was seeing in the Yosemite Valley. We stayed together as a family in a little house, a little chalet there, and it was just so awesome. During the days, we would go hiking and going to see all the awesome things in the valley, and then we'd come home and cook a meal together, and we were just hanging out, playing cards, chatting, cooking together, watching a bit of TV every now and then, and as a family, we just got on so well, and we had such a great time. And It's been a very long time, very many years since we all got to spend so much quality time together. And of course, when you're traveling together like this, there is no hiding from one another. You know, you're with each other pretty much 24/7. And I'm very happy to say that we got on in such a great way, and we all came a little bit closer to each other, and we all bonded in a very beautiful way, which was really, really awesome. But yes, after that awesome experience in Yosemite, we headed down to Pismo Beach, which is a very famous bit of coastline along the northern coast of California, and we spent a few days there in that little town, which was a really awesome little town that gave you a glimpse of what it might have been like during the roaring period of the American 50s and 60s. You could almost feel a shadow of a previous era still sort of looming over there, as you can also feel in San Francisco too. You know, there's so much beautiful Art Deco architecture from a time long gone, but it's all still there and well preserved, and sometimes you can almost hear the trumpets playing from the bars in the shadows. And I definitely got that feeling in Pismo Beach. It was a really wonderful, beautiful coastline, about a 17-mile long beach, and we spent as much time as we could on the beach just hanging out in the sun and making sandcastles and doing some surfing and some swimming and a whole bunch of walking, and of course a whole bunch of eating, and where we enjoyed a really lovely American-style barbecue together at a barbecue joint, although that was a rather pricey dinner, I must admit. But when on family vacations, you try not to worry too much about spending money, because then you just will end up not actually going on the holiday at all. But anyway, after our time in Pismo Beach, we headed all the way down to LA, where we came to the end of our journey and had a really great time there. Our first stop was to meet up with my brother Jono, who was living there, and of course this was a wonderful moment, because this was the first time that myself and my other brother had actually come to visit Jono in LA. This is the first time we had come to see Jono's life and see his house and see how he lives and all of that jazz. And it was the first time that, of course, Jono had his brothers over at his place in LA too. So after very many years, we finally all came together there and had a really awesome time. I was just so proud and happy to see how my brother Jono is doing in LA, and we had some really great evenings together, just hanging out, chatting, making music, drinking some beverages, and just having a really great brotherly catch-up after quite a long time apart this year. Jono also took us to the heart of Hollywood, where we went for a walk around, and it was a really crazy experience, seeing a whole bunch of things that I'd only ever seen in the movies. Our final leg of the LA experience was to go to Universal Studios, which I gotta say was an experience I will never forget. What an amazing theme park. For very many reasons. I think my favorite part of the theme park was probably the Harry Potter land, which I thought was really cool. Although the Harry Potter Castle roller coaster did make me very ill. It was a sort of mix of a roller coaster and 3D augmentation or whatever, and it was a little bit too much for my stomach to handle, and I felt quite queasy after that one. But we spent the whole day at Universal Studios. We went on the tour, which was probably one of the highlights for me, with the flooded subway. For those of you guys who have been there, it's an attraction that was built in 1989 and is still going. It was really quite something that blew my mind. I didn't really like the augmented reality stuff. I feel like that was a little bit, I don't know, dare I say lazy compared to the actual flooding of a subway system that you're in. You basically go into like a subway station and it literally floods with water. It's so awesome. And comparing that to just a couple of screens on both sides of you with some 3D stuff on it, you know, I think I like the real stuff, but that's probably just because I'm old. But anyway, Universal Studios was awesome. We ended our time there by having a Krusty burger, Krusty the Clown burger, which was the only bit of food in America that we had that I thought was absolutely disgusting. The rest of the food in America was absolutely amazing. I loved it all. We had such great meals and such great food. But yeah, Krusty the Clown burger, really, you know, let's just say that it was 100% on brand. The burger was awful. Oh, man. But yes, after Universal Studios, our time together and our trip to Northern California came to an abrupt end, and we all got back on the airplane and went home again. Took me about 15 hours to get back home, and then probably 3 or 4 days to get over the jet lag, which was quite something. I felt quite ill, especially as after 2 days after being back home, I got some travel sickness. I think I picked up some flu on the airplane or something like that. So it took me a little bit of a while to get back on my feet again after the trip. But for those of you guys who want to know some more details about the trip, I did talk about it for 3 hours on a live stream, and I'll link that in the end cards of this episode. So if you want to go hear about my trip in more detail, do go and watch that VOD. But that was my trip to America, now done and dusted. And here we are, back on the grind, back on the HermitCraft server, and doing fairly well on the Mace Race training. After a couple of hours practice, I'm pretty sure I have nailed the course now, and I'm very much looking forward to the official race, which I have now come to learn is on Saturday. So I've got a few more days to train. If I manage to do a perfect run, that is to say I don't ever mess up a single jump, I'll throw that perfect run as a little bit of bonus footage at the end of this episode. But yes, Mace Race coming up in a couple of days. It's going to be awesome. What the actual heck happened to this week, everybody? It's already Friday, and the episode isn't out yet. Panic! I was really hoping to get to some of the projects in the Gigalog. However, I think this is going to probably have to wait for the next episode because there is so much work to do here. Although I do want to show you a little bit of progress that I've made this week on the Pots and Sherds shop project. I've basically just been streaming SHERD hunting for the entire week, and the good news is after about 3 streams of 2 to 3 hours each trying to find sherds, this is how many we've got. I think we're only missing one of the SHERD types, unfortunately, but pretty much have stock of every single SHERD in the game now, which is awesome. Also got a whole bunch of other stuff out of all of that SHERD hunting. But yeah, this is what we've got so far for the SHERD shop. And again, if you want to watch me looking for sherds, I don't know why anybody would want to watch that. But yes, go check out my Rendog TV VOD channel where I upload my Twitch streams. And where we have been spending hours upon hours digging up all of this. But yes, I think because we've got pretty much all the sherds now, a good place to start in the next episode is going to be on the Pots and Sherds shop. We need to find a location in the shopping district, need to figure out the design, and we need to build the shop. So this is something we can crack on next time, I think. For now, I actually have a ridiculous amount of editing to do, so I better get to that. Oh, and also, if you have already picked yourself up a Rendog Minister of Ministers plushie, thank you so very much. And if you haven't yet, well, do think about it, okay? It does help to support me in a decent way, and it will be pretty awesome to get as many Rendog Minister of Ministers plushies into your guys' hands as possible. Anyway, that's it for this episode, guys. We will see you in the next one, which will also have the Mace Race Race thing. Oh, I need to go practice some more mace racing because I've got a race coming up in a couple of days. Oh, goodness. So much to do, so much editing to do. Guys, the life of a YouTuber is never dull, is it? Thanks for watching, Bray, and see you next time.